China is always built with one goal in mind: dominance. But in the 21st century, that ambition has left the surface and gone deep, because while the world debates climate and clings to uranium, China has already fired up something radical in the middle of a desert, and no one saw it coming. Hit that subscribe button because this isn't just energy evolution, it's how China built the reactor America gave up on and why this will change everything. In the heart of Asia's most unforgiving desert, far from the glare of skyscrapers, the hubbub of headlines, and the endless chatter of modern media, a quiet revolution is taking place beneath the sands. A revolution that, if successful, could change the very fabric of global energy systems. This isn't a solar farm, it's not a wind field, this is something far more radical. Something that could potentially alter the way the world powers its cities, industries, and homes forever. What is it? A new kind of nuclear reactor. A nuclear reactor that runs on a metal the world has all but forgotten. One that holds the promise of providing nearly endless clean energy with a fraction of the risk. This is no ordinary power plant. This is the TMSR LF1, the world's first thorium molten salt reactor. And it may just be the most important machine humanity has built in the 21st century. For over a century, the word nuclear has evoked a set of images indelibly associated with destruction. Mushroom clouds, uranium mines, toxic radioactive waste, and the long lingering shadow of Chernobyl. These images have ingrained themselves into the global psyche, dictating how we view nuclear energy, often with fear and skepticism. But buried deep within the Earth's crust, among the precious rare earth minerals lies another element, one far more abundant, far less volatile, and crucially, almost entirely forgotten. That element is thorium. Element 90 on the periodic table, thorium is chemically stable and poses far less of a danger in terms of radioactive contamination. It is 3 to 4 times more common than uranium and can be found in many places on Earth, including countries like the United States, Australia, and India. What's more, thorium can't power a bomb. Unlike uranium, which has long been a dual-use material for both energy generation and nuclear weapons, thorium does not share the same dangerous potential. During the Cold War, that made thorium a non-starter in the eyes of policymakers. Uranium, with its military applications, was the metal of choice. But in the 21st century, with a world increasingly desperate for safe, sustainable, and abundant energy, the very characteristics that once made thorium a weak competitor have now become its greatest strength. A metal that can't be used for weapons and doesn't require massive quantities of cooling water could become the backbone of a new energy era, one that is clean, safe, and virtually limitless. The concept of using thorium as a fuel source in nuclear reactors isn't new. In fact, the United States was the first to seriously investigate it. In the 1960s, scientists at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee developed and successfully tested the idea of molten salt reactors running on thorium. The results were impressive. The reactors were efficient, much safer than their uranium counterparts, and provided a solution to the nuclear waste problem that plagues traditional reactors. But there was one major issue. Thorium couldn't be used to produce weapons-grade plutonium. The US government, with its insatiable desire for dual-use technology during the Cold War, wasn't interested in peaceful nuclear energy. It wanted weapons. Uranium was the obvious choice. Thorium was shelved. The program was abandoned, its blueprints archived and forgotten, its potential left untapped. But the knowledge didn't disappear forever, because while the West debated, delayed, and buried its collective head in the sand, China was watching and waiting. In the parched expanse of the Gobi Desert, one of the driest, most remote, and least hospitable places on Earth, a small group of Chinese scientists quietly embarked on a project that would defy decades of energy orthodoxy. Led by Dr. Xu Hongji of the Shanghai Institute of Applied Physics, this team of engineers began work on a project that had once been deemed impossible. A nuclear reactor that didn't need high-pressure water. A reactor that didn't create weapons-grade waste. A reactor that couldn't melt down in the traditional sense. They wanted to build a molten salt reactor using thorium. The technology that had been dismissed and abandoned was about to be resurrected, and more importantly, realized. Molten salt reactors differ fundamentally from conventional nuclear reactors. Instead of relying on water to cool the system, molten salt reactors use a thick, lava-like fluid, typically a mixture of salts, to both carry the fuel and transfer heat. This design offers immense advantages, from higher thermal efficiency to a reduction in the amount of radioactive waste produced. And unlike traditional uranium reactors, molten salt reactors can operate at much higher temperatures, which in turn allows for the generation of electricity without the need of water cooling systems, a crucial factor in regions where water scarcity is an issue. By 2023, the TMSR LF1 reactor had achieved criticality, meaning it successfully achieved a controlled chain reaction for the first time. By 2024, it was fully operational, quietly humming away in the vast silence of the Gobi Desert. By 2025, the TMSR LF1 had achieved something that no reactor had ever done before. It was capable of refueling itself while still running. The once muted hum in the desert had now become the roar of progress. In a world constantly grappling with the issues of climate change, energy scarcity, and the nuclear waste dilemma, TMSR LF1 represents a new dawn, a reactor that is cleaner, safer, and far more sustainable than anything before it. The world's first thorium molten salt reactor may still be in its infancy, but its potential is already undeniable. If this technology can scale, if the TMSR LF1 can be replicated and refined, we could be looking at a new era of energy production. An era where clean, abundant energy is no longer a dream, but a reality. China's decision to pursue thorium reactors represents a bold leap into a future where energy is not a finite resource, but something that can be sustained and replenished without causing environmental harm. This is the beginning of a journey that may ultimately lead to a world in which nuclear power is no longer feared, but celebrated as a solution to humanity's growing energy needs. The TMSR LF1 may be the first of many such reactors. As the world watches, it's clear that the future of energy, and perhaps even the future of humanity, is changing. At the heart of the molten salt reactor lies a design that can only be described as elegant in its simplicity. Unlike conventional nuclear power plants, which rely on high-pressure water systems to transfer heat and prevent catastrophic meltdowns, molten salt reactors take a radically different approach. They dispense with the complex high-pressure systems altogether. There is no pressurized water, no steam that could potentially explode under stress, and no enormous concrete domes holding back the raw power of a nuclear reaction. Instead, the fuel itself is dissolved directly into molten salt. This salt, operating at temperatures that are far higher than traditional systems, has a significant advantage. It cannot boil at normal operating temperatures. In other words, it won't turn into explosive vapor, even under the most extreme conditions. This shift in the chemical and physical properties of the coolant material offers a far more robust and safer mechanism for energy production. And perhaps the most striking feature of this reactor design is its natural safety mechanism, the frozen plug. If a catastrophic event were ever to occur, one that might threaten the stability of the system, the plug would melt. The molten fuel, once freed from its containment, would drain into underground tanks below the reactor. In this instant, the reactor would stop completely. There would be no fuel in the system to continue the nuclear process. It's a system that effectively eliminates the threat of a meltdown or any catastrophic failure. The beauty of this design lies in its simplicity. Unlike traditional reactors, where extensive measures are required to contain the immense pressure and heat generated, molten salt reactors rely on natural processes to bring about an immediate shutdown when necessary. This provides an added layer of security that's both brilliant and almost poetic in its execution. Given the tragedies of Fukushima and 3 Mile Island, this safety feature alone has the potential to rewrite the narrative surrounding nuclear energy. But this revolution in nuclear energy isn't just about safety, it's also about a massive leap in efficiency. One of the biggest hurdles to traditional nuclear reactors has always been their relatively low thermal efficiency. Pressurized water reactors typically top out at about 33% thermal efficiency, meaning that only a third of the energy produced by the nuclear reaction is actually converted into usable electricity. The rest is lost as waste heat, typically vented into the atmosphere or absorbed by cooling towers. Molten salt reactors, on the other hand, can operate at far higher temperatures and do so safely at atmospheric pressure. This ability to reach higher operating temperatures allows the reactors to extract more energy from each unit of fuel, potentially reaching thermal efficiencies of 45% or more. This is a seismic shift. It's the kind of breakthrough that changed the course of aviation when jet engines replaced propellers. And what's even more remarkable is that this leap in efficiency isn't just a concept, it's already a reality. China has successfully built a molten salt reactor. It's not just a theoretical design or a dream for the future, it's an operational working prototype. The reactor has demonstrated that it is not only safer than traditional nuclear reactors, but also far more efficient. Another significant hurdle in the nuclear energy debate is the issue of waste. The fear of thousands of tons of radioactive material that needs to be stored safely for tens of thousands of years has kept many people wary of nuclear energy. But molten salt reactors, fueled by thorium, change the entire waste equation. Instead of creating waste that lasts for millennia, as uranium-based reactors do, thorium produces byproducts that become safe in just a few hundred years. This shift in the longevity of nuclear waste addresses one of the most significant concerns people have had about nuclear power for decades. It's a remarkable step forward in ensuring that nuclear energy can be a sustainable and safe solution for generations to come. But there's more. The technology doesn't stop at just reducing waste. Future iterations of molten salt reactors could burn existing nuclear waste, turning what was once a liability into a valuable resource. This could help clean up the environmental damage caused by decades of uranium-based nuclear reactors, all while producing clean, renewable energy. What was once seen as a curse, nuclear waste, could now be transformed into a key resource that powers the future. The key to success of these reactors lies in the material that fuels them, thorium. Estimates suggest that China's domestic reserves of thorium, particularly those found in regions like Inner Mongolia, are vast. Some estimates even suggest that these reserves could power China's entire energy grid for up to 25,000 years. This isn't hyperbole or wishful thinking, it's a geological fact. Thorium is far more abundant than uranium, and its energy potential is vast. While much of the Western world remains dependent on oil markets and the importation of uranium for its nuclear fuel, China is quietly securing a domestic supply of energy that could make it energy independent for the foreseeable future. This shift in energy strategy could allow China to break free from the geopolitical struggles surrounding energy resources, ensuring its energy security for the rest of modern civilization. And perhaps most intriguingly, China doesn't plan to keep all this thorium to itself. As the technology continues to mature, there's a growing sense that the world could soon see a global shift in energy production, with thorium and molten salt reactors leading the charge. If this happens, China's energy independence could serve as a model for the rest of the world, showcasing a path toward a more sustainable and secure energy future. In 2025, amidst the austere walls of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Dr. Xu, a key figure in China's nuclear energy development, declared with unmatched confidence, "We now lead the global frontier." It's a statement that, in hindsight, seems almost prophetic. China's bold pursuit of thorium reactors represents not just a technical leap, but a strategic repositioning on the world stage. The ambition isn't just about innovation, it's about dominance. China's plans are meticulous, far-reaching, and unapologetically ambitious. By 2040, the country envisions a world where thorium reactors are as ubiquitous as solar panels and 5G networks with the same global reach. These reactors, small enough to fit inside a shipping container, will pack a punch capable of powering entire cities, fueling China's vast infrastructure needs while opening new markets worldwide. In deserts, plateaus, and islands across China, these reactors are set to be the cornerstone of a new, decentralized energy model. By manufacturing thorium reactors at scale, China is building its own energy hubs, self-sufficient power centers that can operate independently of the national grid. This vision not only addresses China's internal energy demands, but positions it as a dominant exporter of clean energy. The goal? Thorium reactors as a service, a product made in China, sold globally. On the opposite side of the globe, the US is facing a critical inflection point. While China has forged ahead with thorium, the US lags behind, caught in a complex web of outdated regulatory frameworks, political indecision, and entrenched interests tied to the old guard of nuclear energy, uranium, and sodium-based reactors. The US government, once the leader in nuclear innovation, has largely shied away from thorium in favor of more conventional technologies. Even Bill Gates' high-profile TerraPower project, one of the few examples of modern nuclear development in the US, remains rooted in the outdated uranium and sodium reactors, rather than embracing thorium's cleaner, safer potential. The delays aren't just a matter of technological readiness, they reflect deeper systemic issues, a fear of change, bureaucratic inertia, and the ever-present short-term focus of profit cycles. In the US, energy innovation often takes a backseat to political lobbying and public sentiment, which can easily be swayed by negative associations with nuclear power. But the consequences of this inaction are becoming increasingly clear. As China moves forward, with its reactors now in production and ready for export by the 2030s, the US may one day find itself in the paradoxical position of buying back the very energy technology it once pioneered. In a geopolitical world where energy is power, this would be a significant blow to American standing. The 20th century belonged to uranium, a fuel that powered the global stage with an intensity unmatched by any other resource. In the US, uranium helped fuel not just the energy needs of the country, but also the political and military strength that defined its superpower status. However, the 21st century is shaping up to be a different story, one driven not by explosions and atomic fear, but by quiet, deliberate technological innovation. Thorium is emerging not just as an energy source, but as a geopolitical lever. It offers advantages that uranium cannot match. It's abundant, non-proliferating, and safer by design. With TMSR LF1, China has not just built a reactor, it has secured its future. A future powered by a clean, sustainable, and secure energy source that will define the next phase of human civilization. It's a strategic masterstroke, ensuring that China not only leads in technology but in global energy infrastructure. As the world shifts towards sustainability, thorium is becoming more than just an alternative fuel. It's a critical element in the geopolitics of energy. And with China's ambitious plans, it's clear that they're not merely playing catch-up in the global race for energy supremacy. They're setting the terms for the future. For years, skeptics in the West have asked, can thorium really work? But China no longer asks. In the deserts, the plateaus, and the mountains, work is already underway. The cranes are rising, the reactors are being built, and the molten salt flows. While the rest of the world hesitates, China presses forward, securing its energy future with every reactor that comes online. It is a quiet revolution, unfolding in plain sight but almost invisible to the casual observer. This is the essence of the race for energy dominance, the ability to move swiftly, decisively, and without hesitation. So what do you think? Will thorium reactors define the next century of global power, or is this just another buried experiment? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this video with us, and catch you in the next one.